Anad Balabhadram Balotrayat Garbha Sankarshanat Tamvai Rahu Sankarshanam Bhuvi Rameti Lokaramanad Balabhadram Balotrayat. Garbha Sankarshanat. Because he will be taken from the womb of Devaki to that of Rohini, Tam, him, Rohini Nandan, the son of Rohini, Vai, indeed, Prahu, people will call Shankarshanam by the name Shankarshan, Bhuvi, in the world, Rama iti. He will also be called Rama, Loka Ramanat, because of his special mercy in enabling people in general to become devotees. Balabhadram. He will also be called Balabhadra. Bala Utrayat, because of extensive bodily strength. The son of Rohini will also be celebrated as Shankarshan because of being sent from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. He will also be called Rama because of his ability to please all the inhabitants of Gokula. And he will be known as Balabhadra because of his extensive physical strength. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. These are some of the reasons why Balaram is known as Shankarshan. Balaram, or sometimes Rama. In the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. People sometimes object when Rama is accepted as Balaram. But although devotees of Lord Rama may object, they should know that there is no difference between Lord Balaram and Lord Rama. Here Srimad Bhagavatam clearly states that Balaram is also known as Rama, Rameti. Therefore, it is not artificial for us to speak of Lord Balaram as Lord Rama. Jayadev Goswami also speaks of three Ramas, Parasurama, Raghupati Rama, and Balarama. All of them are Ramas. Om Agyan Dimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Viditam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutade Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jatapad Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Om Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Astakya Deshatari. Hare Krishna. I am deeply grateful for this opportunity to serve each of you on this truly auspicious day of Balaram Purnima in Bhaktivedanta Manor. Thank you. Today we are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 2, entitled Prayers by the Demigods, text number 13. This section of Srimad Bhagavatam is describing the birth of Lord Balaram in this world. These transcendental pastimes are Nitya Lila. They are eternal, without beginning, without end. And the transcendental sound vibration which is descending through Parampara, is none different than the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Lord's pastimes. According to our sincerity, our surrender, and our absorption in hearing with a true desire to serve, we are not only hearing these pastimes, but we are participating. These pastimes are actually manifesting within our hearts. The story of Lord Balaram's appearance in this world is described in various Puranas, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, the Gopal Champu of Jiva Goswami, and Srila Prabhupada cites the Haribamsa of Vyasadeva. Lord Krishna, we know the story, and we will be discussing on Janmashtami his appearance. Vasudeva and Devaki were imprisoned by Devaki's own cousin brother Kamsa due to his envy and fear. He was about to kill his own sister when he heard that the 8th child would be the cause of his death. But Vasudeva, the husband of Devaki, on the very day of their marriage, he promised Kamsa that Devaki is of no danger to you. It is the 8th child. I promise I will bring every child that is born. Vasudeva was a man of such honor and integrity that even such a demoniac, cruel tyrant as Kamsa knew that Vasudeva would never break his word of honor. Due to the influence of his various ministers and the intervention of Narada Muni, Kamsa put Vasudeva and Devaki in prison. They had 6 children, and each of them, right in the presence of the mother and father, Vasudeva Devaki, was ruthlessly killed directly by Kamsa. Yet Vasudeva and Devaki understood within their hearts that it was the will of the Lord to appear through them as their 8th child, so they kept having children. In one sense, from a material perspective, it makes no sense. They're in prison. The children will be killed. There's no place to hide them. But this was the nature of their surrender. They were willing to endure anything to assist in the mission of the Lord. These 6 children represent, they were previously the 6 sons of Marichi, the great sage in the world of demigods. And because they made an offense to Lord Brahma, they were cursed to be the 6 sons of Hiranyakashipu. And because they angered Hiranyakashipu, they were cursed to be killed by their own father. In their next birth, They were the children of Kalanemi. Kalanemi was born as Kamsa. And our acharyas describe these 6 children represent the 6 anarthas of the mind that contaminate our hearts. Lust, anger, greed, envy, arrogance, and illusion. And they all must be removed before our minds and our hearts can actually receive Krishna. Krishna takes birth in the hearts of devotees in the sense that Krishna appears to us when we become purified. But even after all these anarthas are gone, that's not enough. Still, we require to awaken love for Krishna. So Lord Balaram, the original expansion of Krishna and the original Guru, he entered into the womb of Devaki. He descended from Goloka Brindavan to enter into the womb of Devaki, to prepare the womb to be a comfortable, attractive place for Krishna to reside. It's quite unimaginable, the nature of this womb. It is filled by Balaram's brotherly love, and it is filled by Devaki's motherly love. In previous manifestations, expansions, Balaram is Sheshanaga. He's the bed, the resting place of Lord Vishnu, to give him a comfortable place to reside. We read that Rohini, who is the original mother of Balaram in Goloka Brindavan, she was one of the wives of Vasudeva. When Vasudeva was in prison with Devaki, Rohini was pregnant. When she was 3 months pregnant, Vasudeva, to protect her and her child, sent them to be in the shelter of Vasudeva's dearmost friend, Nanda Maharaj, in Mahaban, Gokul. When Rohini, carrying the child for 3 months in her womb, arrived in Gokul, it is described she met Yashodamai. The love between them is compared to the Yamuna and Ganga coming together at Prayag. How they celebrated one another. Srila Prabhupada, in this beautiful narration of his purports, is describing Krishna instructing his spiritual potency, Yogamaya. That the child that is now in Devaki's womb should be transferred into Rohini's womb. Replace Rohini's child with Devaki's child. And then I will appear in the womb of Devaki and you shall be my younger sister, born of Yashoda and Nanda in Gokul. Srila Prabhupada describes from Haribamsa how this all happened. During the 7th month of Rohini Devi's pregnancy, at midnight, she had a dream. In fact, it is explained as if it was a dream. It was actually a divine vision. In this dream, she experienced a miscarriage. It alarmed her so much that she woke up from the dream and realized that it actually happened. There was no child in her womb. She began to despair and great anxiety. And at that moment, Yogamaya spoke to her. She heard the voice that I am now attracting the child of Devaki into your womb to replace your child. And in this way, his name shall be Shankarshan. So the original Balaram, the son of Rohini, entered into the womb of Rohini. Some explain they came together, the expansion and the original Balaramji. It was at that time in Mathura, soon after that Krishna entered the womb of Devaki. Rohini, on her 14th month of pregnancy, on the full moon night, the Purnima of the month of Shravan, gave birth to Balaram. We are celebrating today Balaram Purnima. Balaramji especially remained in her womb for these 14 months. Just to be born just before Krishna. Jiva Goswami describes during this time when Balaram was a little infant baby, Yashoda Mai was also pregnant. And Krishna was in her womb. And sometimes Rohini would give little baby Balaram to Yashoda Mai, and she would embrace Balaram, and Balaram would go very tightly, snuggling close to her womb, just wanting to be close to Krishna. In the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Brindavan Das Thakur, the very first chapter, after glorifying the Vaishnavas and glorifying the Gurus, he glorifies Lord Nityananda Prabhu. and goes into quite detail describing Lord Balaram's unlimited glories and mercy, and describes the beautiful Rasa Leela that Lord Balaramji had with his gopis at Ramghat in Brindavan Dham. He does so because in order to truly approach Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one must understand the utter necessity of receiving the mercy of Nityananda, which is the same as to understand Krishna. It is only possible by the mercy of the original Guru, who all other Gurus are representing, Lord Balaramji. Srila Prabhupada would sometimes call us Balaram the servitor Godhead. He quotes from the Acharyas in the scriptures that there is actually no difference between Krishna and Balaram. It is not that Balaram has lesser qualities than Krishna. Various avatars manifest certain percentages of the qualities of Krishna, who is Swayam Rupa. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Balaramji has all the opulences of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada would sometimes say the difference is Krishna has a complexion like a dark monsoon rain cloud, and Balaram like a white spring cloud, or like the full moon, or like pure camphor. Although Balaram is the source of all avatars, the original personality of Godhead, none different, his eternal pastime is to serve Krishna, to serve in every way. Some people feel that they'll be happy if they could become God. But here we see the Almighty God, the source of all avatars of God. His happiness is in serving God, serving himself. And how does Balaram serve? As the Mula Sankarsan, the original expansion of Krishna. He serves in every possible way. In Santa Ras, the mood of neutrality, he expands as the Sandini Shakti. He is the predominating deity over the entire land of Brindavan in the spiritual world of Goloka. Balaram creates for all of eternity the most beautiful playground to facilitate Krishna's loving relationship with Srimati Radharani and with all of the limitless Brijabasis, Gopas and Gopis. He expands himself to become Krishna's umbrella to shade him. Such a humble position, he becomes Krishna's shoes, Krishna's pillows, Krishna's bed. He accepts the role of Dasyaras, Krishna's servant. Even though he's elder brother, he's cowherd boy, he's full of all opulences. At times when Krishna's tired, he will fan Krishna, he will massage his legs. In Sakyaras, he's Krishna's intimate friend and brother, performing unlimited playful games while they herd the cows or the calves together, laughing with Krishna, joking with Krishna, jumping with Krishna. He serves in Vatsalya Ras as Krishna's elder brother to sometimes protect him, give him guidance, even chastise him. And because he's elder brother, he does not directly engage in the conjugal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But he manifests himself as Srimati Radharani's younger sister, Ananga Manjari, to assist so intimately in the Madhurya Ras pastimes of the Lord. In this way, Lord Balaram, his whole life, his whole everything, is to serve, to please, not only to please Krishna, but to please every devotee of Krishna in this spiritual world. The Supreme All-Powerful is most happy when he's taking a role of being a servant of a servant of a servant. And it is this mood that represents the Guru or the spiritual master, for the pleasure of Krishna to bring others to enjoy with Krishna. Beyond his Mula Sankarshan Lila in Goloka Brindavan, it is Balaram who becomes Mahashankarshan. Our scriptures say Mahashankarshan is the shelter of all jivas. He becomes the Supreme Lord of Vaikuntha. And for the purpose of serving Krishna in creation, it is from the Chaturvyuha Shankarshan that Lord Balaram becomes Karanadakshai Vishnu, Mahavishnu, the Lord of the entire cosmic manifestation. Through his exhalation, all the universes are manifested. Through his glance, he impregnates the material energy with all the jivas who are destined to take birth within material existence. And through that glance, he activates the three modes of material nature and actually is the cause of everything happening within the creation. Within each universe, Balaram through Mahavishnu enters as Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, as the Lord of the universe. From him Brahma is born. All the knowledge of all the Vedas is revealed. And then the Lord manifests as Kirodakshai Vishnu, to reside in Svetadvip, a spiritual Vaikuntha planet within the universe. And as Kshirodakshai Vishnu, Lord Balaram becomes the Paramatma, the super soul within the heart of every living being. The name of Lord Balaram is Anantadev, which means he has unlimited, infinite spiritual qualities. He is Shesha because his glories and his presence is forever. It never ends. As Ananta Shesha, he takes a position below the Patala Loka, in the bottom of the universes. And it is described that he is carrying universes on his hoods. He takes the role of a divine serpent with thousands of hoods. And each hood has an entire universe. And what is the Bala? What is the strength of Balaram? This is an expansion of an expansion of an expansion. What is the weight of a universe? Describe millions of planets are in a universe. And for Anantashesha, its significance on his hood is like a single mustard seed. Sometimes we think that the problems, the challenges of life in this world are so heavy, such a burden. The problems of the mind, the problems of the senses, the problems of youth or old age, the problems of all the world around us. Do we not sometimes feel overburdened just by life? Well, Balaram's strength, the weight of the entire universe, which includes all the problems in the universe. It's less significant than a mustard seed on his huge, gigantic head of Ananta. Srila Prabhupada describes that without the mercy of Balaram, we cannot overcome the temptations and the problems of this world. He is known as Balaram because he enjoys exhibiting limitless spiritual strength. And when we take this shelter of Lord Balaram through the Guru Tattva, then Balaram's strength is there to give us that shelter. And there is none of our little burdens have any significance when we receive the mercy of Lord Balaramji. Balaram eternally is engaging in every possible way in serving the Lord and creating interconnections to attract others to Lord Krishna. As Lord Narayan, he's Ananta Shesha, just there to assist the Lord. In Lord Ramchandra's Leela, Balaram becomes Lakshman. Lakshman is Rama's constant associate. throughout the entirety of the Ramayana, we find Rama and Lakshman are always together in all situations. When Ram was exiled to the forest, Lakshman insisted, "I'm coming with you." Ram said, "There's no reason. You're not exiled. You enjoy Ayodhya." When Lakshman saw that Sita was going with him, he self-imposed exile upon himself. When they arrived in Chitrakoot, near the Mandakini Ganga River, Lakshman built a little hut for Sita and Ram to live, giving a place for them to reside and be comfortable and happy. And Lakshman, he never even went inside the hut, nor did he make one for himself. Throughout the day, he was with Ram and Sita, performing every possible service. And at night, when they rested, he stood outside that hut that he created to guard and protect Ram and Sita so no one could disturb them. When they left Chitrakoot for Panchavati, Nasik, for any of you who have been there, there's the Balaram temple. That was built by Lakshman, where Ram and Sita had shelter, and he stood outside to guard. On the order of Ram, he cut the nose of Suparnaka off. And when Sita was abducted by Ravana, Lakshman traveled barefoot, walking from the western place of Panchavati all the way down to Kishkinda Kshetra to meet Hanuman at Sugriva, down to Rameshwaram to fight the battle of Sri Lanka. And after all of that, when finally the glorious moment when Sita Ram were reunited, Ram told Lakshman to build a huge pyre with wood and light it on fire to test Sita. Lakshman questioned Ram, "Why are you doing this?" But Ram gave the order. And he's Ramanuja. He's a servant of Ram. And later on, when they were restored to their kingdom in Ayodhya, Ram told Lakshman, "Tell Sita I'm sending her on a trip to the forest to visit Valmiki Muni's ashram. And when you get there, inform her that for the sake of Dharma in the world, she must remain there." This was impossible for Lakshman. But yet for the service of Ram, he did. Yes, so much of the sorrows of Ramchandra during this Leela, Lakshman shared with him. And he resolved, in all future incarnations, I will be my Lord's elder brother. That way I don't have to do all these things. So he became Balaram. And in next incarnation, he became Nityananda. So now Balaram is born, and soon after, Krishna is born. They're living in Brihadvan or Mahavan, one of the 12 forests of Brajbhumi. Rohini and Yashoda were like the most intimate sisters, their love for each other. And similarly, Krishna and Balaram. They did everything together. When they're just little babies, they would be on the laps of their mothers. Yashoda loved Krishna and Balaram in the same way as did Rohini for both of them. As they began to grow, Srila Prabhupada describes, it was a great festival when they saw little white teeth starting to grow from their mouths. And after some time, they would count the teeth, compare them. The Supreme Absolute Truth, the Almighty Krishna Balaram, the source of all avatars, are little babies helplessly appearing to receive the shelter of their mothers and fathers. And they began to crawl after some time. They'd crawl in the muddy areas of Brindavan because that was just the most fun. When the cows would see Krishna and Balaram, they all had motherly love. Every elder gopi and elder gopa, they loved Krishna and Balaram as their own child. In fact, they loved them more than their own children. An inconceivable expression of love. And every cow, when they would see Krishna and Balaram, milk would flow from their udders and moisten the ground. And then in ecstasy, they would sometimes pass urine. So the sacred dust of Vrindavan, every particle is more precious than Chintamani. It is Chintamani, more precious than all the jewels of the heavens. So that mixture of Braj dust, the cow's loving motherly milk and urine, would create like a wonderful paste that Krishna and Balaram would just, when they were just crawling, they would slide around. Sukadev Goswami compares it like little snakes. They would pull their back rear legs, slushing through the wonderful mud of Braj. And sometimes they'd hear the tinkling of ankle bells and they thought it was their mothers. And they'd slither to that gopi where they heard and when they would see it would not be their mother, they would be afraid and slither back. And his mother, usually all the gopis would laugh. And Yashoda and Rohini Devi would lift up their children. Sometimes while they were crawling around, they would see a little calf and grab the tail. The calf would get scared and jump up and start running. and they'd hold on to the tail, be sliding around. They were too afraid to let go. And the gopis would be laughing and clapping their hands, singing their glories. These beautiful pastimes simply charmed the hearts of all the residents of Brindavan. After some time, they learned to walk. Extraordinary. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, I'm the ability of men and women. I'm the intelligence of intelligence. I'm the strength of the strong. Whatever we do is only by Krishna's energies. But yet Krishna and Balaram are learning to walk. And as soon as they learned to walk, they began their pastimes of stealing butter. And Krishna Balaram, they were the leaders. The other little gopas, they would be behind Krishna Balaram to assist them. And so many times gopis would complain to Yashoda and Rohini what Krishna and Balaram were doing, coming to their houses. They would steal butter, eat butter, break pots. And if they couldn't find the butter because the gopis hid it, they would pass urine on the floors. How many times have you passed urine? Who cares? Krishna Balaram 5,000 years ago, and we're still celebrating. That is all attractive. And at Brahmandagat, when Krishna Balaram came back to Yashoda Mai, Krishna ate dirt. Yashoda Mai was so concerned, so worried. How will you maintain your health, Gopal, if you eat dirt? Krishna said, I didn't eat dirt. Yashoda Mai said, but Balaram said you ate dirt. Balaram is always part of your pastimes of mischief. Why would he ever go against you? He said, I didn't eat dirt. And in this way, Balaram orchestrated this wonderful pastime where she looked in Krishna's mouth and saw the entire universe within Krishna's tiny little mouth, with all the planets and the oceans and the mountains and all living beings. She even saw herself looking in Krishna's mouth. There were certain pastimes because Balaram was Krishna's elder brother. There were certain things that Balaram would protect Krishna from. So Krishna especially performed certain pastimes on Balaram's birthday, because on that day he didn't go to herd cows with Krishna. He was kept back, and Rohini and the elder Brijabasis would have a birthday celebration for him. And in those days, birthday celebrations were having yajnas, getting Brahmins to bless you, the little child would give in charity to others. This is traditional. On birthdays, the greatest thing to receive is blessings, and the greatest blessing comes by serving great souls. So on this day, Balaram Purnima, we're celebrating. Balaram stayed back. And that was the day that Krishna entered the mouth of Bakasura. We all know that Leela. Do you think Balaram would have let Krishna go into the mouth of Bakasura? Krishna took the opportunity. All the cowherd boys entered Bakasura's mouth, a giant serpent who came to destroy everyone in Brindavan by killing Krishna and Balaram, hurt by killing Krishna. And Krishna expanded and delivered Bakasura. And after that, they were really hungry for nice prasad, and they sat on the bank of Yamuna together. And it was that day that Brahma took away all the calves, and then he took away all the cowherd boys. And Krishna, to satisfy the innermost desires of all of his devotees in Brindavan, to fulfill their wish of being everyone's child, he manifested himself perfectly to be each calf and each gopa. And nobody, including Balaram himself, even suspected that there was anything that wasn't normal. For one full year. And just before this day, one time it is described, they were on top of Govardhan Hill, some cowherd men and cows, and they saw their children. The cows saw their little calves, and they came running down Govardhan Hill. And when Balaram saw the love between the cows and those little calves, how they were licking them and crying, the cows in motherly affection, and how the cowherd men were embracing their children and weeping in ecstatic love, Balaram was bewildered. This type of love is only possible between Krishna and all. And then Krishna revealed to him that each calf and each gopa was Krishna himself. And again, on this day of Balaram Purnima was the day Lord Brahma returned and Brahma Vimohan. Krishna revealed to him that he was each calf and each cowherd boy. Brahma couldn't understand, how is it that all these cowherd boys are still here? And one cowherd boy looked at Brahma and said, "You are less significant to me than one of my goats." And this is a little gopa talking to Lord Brahma, who's just come down on his swan carrier. And moments later, Brahma saw each cowherd boy become a form of Vishnu, with all demigods and sages gathered around each one and each calf. And then it all disappeared. And there was just Krishna holding his little, from 1 year before, his dahi and rice and fruit. This Leela is celebrated today, Balaram Purnima. It is when Krishna was swallowed by Bakasura, the great crane demon, even Balaram, in his Vatsalya Ras, his love as an elder brother, because of his love for Krishna, Even though Yoga Maya is a potency of Balaram himself, because of his love for Krishna, when suddenly Krishna was swallowed by this gigantic bird, Balaram was so stunned, he fell unconscious. This is the nature of the Leela of the Lord. To facilitate the ecstasy of love in their pastimes, even the Lord himself becomes bewildered. On a day when Balaram was kept home, Krishna took that opportunity to go to Kaliya's lake. And you know the story. It was so poisoned, everyone, all the children, and they all died. And Krishna came and glanced upon them and gave them their life back. Then he jumped in the lake and he danced on the hoods of Kali. Actually, he was in the coils of Kaliya. And so many bad omens, inauspicious omens all over Brindavan. Nanda, Yashoda, they were at Nandagram. They all came running along with Balaram. And when they saw Krishna in the coils of Kaliya, massive serpent, and Krishna's just little child who appears so helpless. He wasn't even moving. Nanda Maharaj was about to jump in the poisoned waters to fight Kaliya, as were all the other cowherd men, but Balaram stopped them. Balaram said, "You do not know the power of my little brother." In the face of Krishna, this Kali is less significant than an insignificant water snake. And then Balaram began to laugh. And he called out, "Krishna, why? I'm Ananta Shesha. Why you never play with me like this?" And that's why Balaram saved everyone's life by giving them hope. One day, when all the Gopas, Krishna, Balaram were playing Sridama, Subala, Stoka Krishna, Sudama, they called out Krishna and Balaram. Close by is a forest. And there's wonderful tal trees. And each tree is filled with the most delicious, fragrant fruits. Can you not smell the fragrance from here? These fruits are like nectar. But there is a demoniac. He was actually an associate of Kamsa who took the form of a massive donkey. His name was Dhenukasura. So vicious that anyone who dared to come to his Taliban forest, he would kill. He was notorious for eating human beings alive. And he was surrounded by extremely powerful Rakshashi donkeys. The cowherd boy said, actually, they didn't want to eat the fruits. They wanted Krishna and Balaram and all the residents of Brindavan to be able to eat the fruits. So in order to incite Krishna and Balaram's enthusiasm, they said, we want to eat the fruits. So Balaram entered into Taliban and came to one huge tree and began to shake it. As he was shaking the tree, fruits were tumbling down. When Dhenukasura heard this, he was outraged. How dare anyone to come to defy my authority? He came running, galloping into the forest. And there he saw Balaramji effortlessly just shaking trees, unconcerned that he had even come. Dhenuka turned around and with his rear legs kicked Balaram in the chest again and again. Picture it, Balaram's just in the form of a little cowherd boy. And Dhenukasura is like a mountain in the form of an ass, kicking with all of his strength. His kicks were powerful like a thunderbolt. His hooves were harder than steel, banging on Balaram's chest. And Balaram just stood there unfazed, as if Dhenuka wasn't even existing. This outraged Dhenukasura even more. He began screaming. Sorry, no one was laughing when he did it. He was spinning around in circles in rage. Then again, red eyes of anger, he stared into Balaram, then turned around and began kicking again and again and again. Balaram with one hand effortlessly took the two hind legs of Dhenuka and lifted above his own head and whirled him around. He whirled him so fast that Dhenukasura was going around and around and around, and just by the power of his Balaram's twirling, he was so dizzy that he died. Balaram effortlessly threw him to the top of the highest tree. The weight of Dhenuka was so much, the tree fell down on another tree, and that another tree and another tree. Seeing this, Dhenukasura's army of demoniac donkeys attacked, and Krishna and Balaram together, one at a time. The two brothers did the same. They took the hind legs, twirled them around, and threw them in trees. The cowherd boys celebrated. But it is described that the cowherd boys didn't eat the fruits for some time because the blood of Dhenukasura and his friends were there. But it opened up the Talavan forest. Previously, not even a bird would fly over Talavan out of fear. And now it became one of the most favored playgrounds for Krishna and the cowherd boys and all the residents of Brindavan. Bhaktivedanta Thakur describes how Dhenukasura is a demon that represents ignorance of spiritual knowledge. Sometimes mundane knowledge, when it is disconnected from awareness of the eternal soul, disconnected from the truth that everything is the property of Krishna. We are all completely dependent on Krishna. Then whatever we know is like a burden. And a donkey is sometimes called a beast of burden, carrying so much of a load. And when we are ignorant, then I'm part and parcel of Krishna. I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. Bhaktaram yagyatapasam sarvalokamaheshwara. Suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shanti mrichati. Everything is meant for Krishna's happiness. Everything is Krishna's property. And Krishna is everyone's most intimate, loving, best, well-wishing friend. In such a state, there's peace. When we build our knowledge and our activities in life on this principle, then we live in Krishna's love, liberated from the anxieties of material ego. But otherwise, like Dhenukasura, we become attached to the fruits of our actions. We want to call it my own. Dhenukasura wanted to enjoy the fruits and would not share it with anyone. The power to control. But Balaram and Balaram's representative, the spiritual masters, when we take shelter, they liberate us from the spiritual ignorance. One day, Krishna and Balaram were playing with the boys. So many games they would play. In Brindavan, they would get bale fruits, which were like balls, and they would play every type of ball game. They would imitate, in a playful mood, all the various animals. Sometimes they would jump with the frogs. They would dance with the peacocks. They would appear, they would go into the trees and play like monkeys with the monkeys. They would appear to fly like with the birds. One day, they decided to play a game of hiding and seeking. And they divided into two teams. And the Gopas themselves, they decided who would be the captains of the teams. One was Krishna and one was Balaram. And in this particular game on that day, whoever would find the other, the person who was discovered had to carry the other boy on their shoulders. And in this way, to reveal to everyone that I have lost. He is winner. As they were dividing, there was one cowherd boy who was kept home from coming on that day. And Kamsa sent one of the most powerful, vicious of all demons named Pralambasura. He disguised himself to appear exactly like that cowherd boy that did not come. He chose to be on Krishna's side. Acharyas describe, he was thinking, Krishna is very powerful. But if I kill Balaram, Krishna will become so depressed, then I'll be able to kill Krishna too. Then I could kill everybody. Such a demoniac state of mind. So they played the game, and Balaram's side won. Krishna lost. Krishna happily carried Sri Rama on his shoulders, just to show the world for all time, Sri Rama has defeated me. And Pralamba, in the little form of this cowherd boy, so sweet, so beautiful, so playful, he took Balaram on his shoulders. The game was happening in a forest called Brindavan. And they were all supposed to go back to the Bandiravat, which is a beautiful Bindiravan tree. But Pralamba, with Balaram on his shoulders, he ran farther and farther away, deeper and deeper into a forest. Sri Balaramji was thinking, why is my friend taking me so far away from all of my other friends? And Balaram was feeling separation from Krishna and all the other boys. So his weight became increasingly heavy. So much that now Pralamba could hardly carry him. Helplessly, Pralamba, just to survive, manifested his actual form. No longer was he a sweet little cowherd boy. Now he had the size of a demon whose body was like a mountain. His eyes were red, his hair was like fire. He had all kinds of jewels. It is described that Balaram was like the full moon on a very, very, very dark, stormy cloud. Pralambasura had fangs, teeth that came all the way up to his eyebrows. He was very, very ferocious. And Balaram is just the same little Balaram size on the shoulders of this demon. Why has my friend changed in every way? And by his own yoga maya potency, Balaram appeared to be afraid. What is happening? According to the beautiful narration of Kavi Karnapur, Krishna saw this and called out, Balaram, you are Balaram. And Balaramji, with his little hand, he raised it high in the air and struck Pralamba in the head. And his head cracked open. It was like lava flowing out of a volcano, his blood. He vomited. Can't imagine what that was like. And he fell to the ground dead. Immediately all the gopas came running to the scene, and they were all dancing and celebrating Balaram's heroic deed of killing this great demon. Demigods showered fragrant flowers from the heavens. Thakur Bhaktivedanta describes Pralamba represents the anartha of lust. This lust to enjoy. And subtle lust, profit, adoration, and distinction. Like Pralamba, sexual lust, lust to enjoy sense gratification, and the desire to be for prestige and fame. They appear to be our friends, but actually they're there to destroy us. And real knowledge, real wisdom is to identify them as such and to take shelter of Guru Tattva, of Balaramji. The false promises and the faith we put in these anarthas, these distractions, are very much the cause of our downfall. Daiviheshu gunamayi mama maya durati. Mame vamya prabhajante maya meta durantite. Material energy, with all of its illusions, with all of its false promises, appears to be our friend, and is very difficult to overcome. But Krishna tells one who takes shelter of me can easily cross beyond. I think we're over time. Balaramji, Ishesha, that means he has no end. So, but we have to end. When Krishna and Balaram went to Mathura, they entered the wrestling arena together. Krishna liberated Chanura, Balaram liberated Mushtika. And Kamsa came down. He was so angry. He came down. He actually was about to kill Devaki and Vasudev. Krishna jumped up and slayed Kamsa. And then Kamsa's 8 assistants, they all attacked, and Balaram liberated all of them. Together, and Krishna and Balaram were sent by Vasudeva and Devaki to Avanti Desh, Ujjain, to the ashram of Sandipani Muni, where they were classmates together. Together they resided in Mathura and then to Dwarka. Kamsa liberated the great mighty Dvivida, who appeared as a gorilla. We know the story of Mahabharata, and it's described in its essence in Srimad Bhagavatam. The very basis of the Battle of Kurukshetra was Duryodhana's envy toward the Pandavas, who were Krishna's pure, intimate, loving devotees and cousin brothers. It is described that Balaram taught Duryodhana how to fight with a club. Actually, Balaram was very friendly toward Duryodhana. So someone may, not someone, many people ask, when Duryodhana was trying to destroy Krishna's devotees, Krishna was always there to protect them, to take their side. Why was Balaram, who's always assisting and always serving Krishna, why was he so nice to Duryodhana? Balaram actually never really took the side of Duryodhana. but he was always giving him a chance. And it's quite similar to Jagai and Madhai. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to kill Jagai and Madhai, but Nityananda Prabhu was begging, please give them a chance. Give them your shelter. At the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna was going to be the chariot driver of Arjuna, and Balaram did not want to take any side. So he went on a pilgrimage. He came to Naimisharanya, and there was a gathering of great sages, saints, Brahmins, discussing scriptures. When Balaram came, everyone who was there knew he is the supreme absolute truth. He's the personality of Godhead. So they all stood up, worshipped him, and offered him honor. But Balaram took note that one person did not stand up or give any recognition. He was the leader amongst them. He was the one who was going to be giving the class, speaking. He was sitting on Vyasasan. His name was Romaharshan. Romaharshan was so learned from all the scriptures. He was so eloquent in how he could present. He was a direct disciple and student of Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of Godhead. And all these great saints and sages were sitting at his feet. Because of false pride, he did not offer respect. And Balaram could see how misleading this was, this type of hypocrisy. And Balaram chastised him with transcendental anger. You may be directly the student of Vyasadeva. You may know all the Vedas and the Puranas and the Itihastas with such authority. But if you do not have the culture of honoring and respect others, you're simply a hypocrite. And I have descended to remove such hypocrisy. Balaram took a blade of grass, kusha grass, and he touched Romaharshan. Romaharshan left his body. Upon seeing this, the sages and the rishis and the Brahmins were very upset. They said, we just before you came, Balaram, we gave him a benediction that he would live long. And that he would complete his kata with us. Now you killed him. We don't know what to do. You're the Supreme Lord. We can't tell you not to do what you did, but this is our dilemma. Balaram said, if you like, I'll bring him back to life. They said, no, we can't tell you to change what you've done. So Balaram, with their blessings, there was a demon named Balvala who was hurting them and disturbing their sacrifices. So Balaramji liberated him. And then to purify himself, Balaram, who is the supreme pure, he went on pilgrimage to various holy places, continued on. That same Balaram, the supreme source of all spiritual strength, the supreme servitor of the absolute truth, appears as Lord Nityananda in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. Dinahina yata chilo harina mudharilo tara sakshi jagai mata. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he began his Sankirtan movement, he told Nityananda, Balaram, and Haridas Thakur, who was Brahma, to go to each house, each shop, each bathing ghat, and beg people to take the names of Krishna. Just give this message to everyone without discrimination, who's fit or unfit. Krishna's your mother. Krishna's your father. Krishna's your real wealth. Krishna's your very life and soul. Chant the names of Krishna. Remember Krishna. Here is Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Balaram himself. In his previous avatar with a blade of grass, he ended the life of Rama Harshan. Now Nityananda Prabhu is taking that same grass and putting it between his teeth in complete humility and bowing down to even the most fallen souls with tears of compassion. Akroda Paramananda Nityananda Ram, begging them to chant the names of the Lord, Sri Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In our parampara, Radhanath Das Goswami is our Prayojana Acharya. He's teaching the culmination of, in Madhurya Ras, the gopis' love for Krishna. But how did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrange to teach the world? Our Prayojana Acharya, a manjari of the spiritual world, teaching the highest rasas. In Panihati, Radhanath Das Goswami, he couldn't achieve shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu until he received the blessings and served Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And Radhanath Das Goswami, from his own mouth, he said, it is known, it is truth, that no one could receive the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was Radha and Krishna, without the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami are Sambandha and Abhideya Gurus. How did they receive the mercy of shelter of Lord Chaitanya? It was Lord Nityananda Prabhu that brought them to the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our beloved Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he established now I'm like Rama Harshan. He established Krishna Balaram temple in Brindavan town to give prominence to the mercy of Krishna Balaram, who in this age are Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So on this most beloved auspicious day of Sri Balaram Jayanti, it is a day when Sri Balaram's mercy, when Nityananda Prabhu's mercy is especially accessible. Let us take shelter of the holy names of the Lord. And we're also beginning this wonderful project that Vaisheshika Prabhu and Nirakula Devi have inspired all over the world of the Bhadra Purnima book distribution, which is really the mood of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Nityananda went house to house, village to village, got to got, shop to shop, giving people, hear about Krishna, chant the names of Krishna, worship Krishna. These wonderful sets of Srimad Bhagavatams and Srila Prabhupada's full sets of books. We're given the chance, especially on this day, to commit ourselves, to resolve. Let me assist Lord Nityananda Balaram in this great mission of distributing the words of Srila Prabhupada, their beloved representative. What seemed impossible years ago has become one of the most exciting and blissful offerings worldwide of our movement. So please participate. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, out of gratitude and thanks to Maharaj for his coming to Bhaktivedanta Manor and kindly addressing us on this auspicious day. We'll give him 3 loud Hari Bols in the traditional way. Thank you so much. And now we'll hear a little more about the Bhadra campaign. Divyanam Prabhu.
His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj ki, His Grace Mother Vishakha ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So dear devotees, I just wanted to say that we started this initiative here 5 years ago, well just over 5 years ago, when His Grace Shruti Dharma Prabhu very kindly requested His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj when he was here to say few words. And Maharaj gave such beautiful class then. And what a beautiful class today. One more time for Maharaj. Haribol! So on this wonderful occasion of Balaram Jayanti, we wanted to request all the devotees with a humble request we have, which is in the form of this video. So we are running slightly over the time. So we're going to play this video. So please watch this short 4-minute video. And then I'll say a few more words on how everybody can participate in this wonderful opportunity as an offering to Srila Prabhupada. So we can have the video being played. Is it possible to switch off the light?
So after publishing 3 parts, Srimad Bhagavatam, then automatically Guru Maharaj gave me indication that now you can start forever.
Are you crazy? The old man, you are going to die. Who will look after you? What will you do then?
The age of 70 years. For 1 year I had no place to live. I took some of my books, some of the Bhagavatam, and I was personally selling these books to the booksellers and to the persons anyway, with great difficulty. New York is a very expensive city, and not man.
And we're conducting the Bhadra Purnima campaign, that is, all of us, all over the world, from the top down and from the bottom up. And I'm humbly requesting everyone to take this opportunity, which is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, to be so rewarding that by distributing 1 Bhagavatam set on Bhadra Purnima, one gets the benefit of going back to the Supreme Abode. Please distribute at least 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set for Bhadra Purnima, and either sponsor one, Buy one for yourself, get one for your friends or your parents or somebody on your block. But please take the initiative and distribute at least one set of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Purnima. Thank you very much for considering my request, and may Lord Chaitanya shower you with his blessings. Hare Krishna.